Attention lawn care pros. You're invited to the biggest event of the year, Entrepreneur Academy Live 2024. November 2nd in Novi, Michigan. Whether you're just starting or scaling up, this is the place to be. Join us for an action-packed day with expert sessions on cash flow management, business automation, client retention, marketing, and more. We've lined up an incredible roster of speakers to help you elevate your business, including Sam Rankin,
Pat Murray,
Ken Deemer,
Brian Fullerton,
Sam Gimbel,
Mark Bradley,
and Jeff Joyner. You'll network with like-minded pros, enjoy exciting giveaways, and get ready to take your business to new heights. Don't miss our Friday night mixer for some fun and camaraderie before we get down to business. And of course, that's not all. Extend your learning with our exclusive Sunday masterclass sessions on November 3rd. Limited to just 20 seats each, these in-depth 3-hour sessions feature Jeff Joyner,
Mark Bradley,
and Sam Gimbel. This is your chance to get personalized insights and strategies from the best in the business. Details on attending the masterclass sessions are available at entrepreneuracademy.com. There is an additional charge for these classes, and they will sell out fast. Tickets for the main event on Saturday are $249 until September 17th, then $297. Visit entrepreneuracademy.com to grab yours now and look into securing your spot for the masterclass sessions on Sunday. I'm telling you, don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to level up and connect with industry leaders. See you in Novi this November. There's a special link in the show description.
Thank you to our sponsors, Xmark, Boss, Short Track, and LMN.
Entrepreneur Academy Live 2024.
You're now listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Straightforward, no nonsense business advice. Completely unfiltered. Grow your business. Grow your life. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. It is your host, Brian Fullerton here, hanging with you guys, and good morning. Well, today we're doing another road show. Hopefully you guys don't mind these and you guys find these fun. It's just a great way for me to kill two birds with one stone. I love making podcasts, love keeping the content coming and going, and making, you guys feel great and encouraged and enthused, and, of course, get the latest and greatest that I can help you out with what's going on in my life and what I'm getting out in the marketplace. But I'll tell you what, let's just be frank. I spent a lot of time in the car, just like I'm sure a lot of you guys. That's one of the reasons I bought a nicer trim truck for the owner or foreman, back in the day, even my Lariat that Rob has. And now that we're going to be probably buying a new truck this fall or next spring, we'll probably downgrade the trim just one notch to an XLT. But anyway, that's why you buy the nicer truck. When we live in these things and we're putting the miles on them that we are and live in them that much that we do, then, leather seats, cold seats, maybe a moon roof once in a while, like it does have its perks. And by the way, if you make more money, you do with what you want with your money. I'll do with what I want with my money, right? Just having some fun there. But really quick, what I wanted to talk about on today's podcast episode is just a fun observation and maybe a call to action, if you will, for some of you guys that are brand new. And then also maybe a call to action for any of you guys that have been around for a little bit, like myself, to take your arm around people that are new in the industry so we can all learn and grow and win together. And I don't really know which way to best quantify this, but how I will say it is, it seems like the never-ending perpetual sin of self-employment. Let me break it down for just a quick second, and it won't be a super deep topic or idea, but I think the merits behind it can be pretty significant. So let's just talk really quick. It seems like here is the life cycle of self-employment, the trades, maybe somebody starting a business and trying to do something on their own, right? You work for somebody, you make some money, you think the owner's killing it, so you ask for a raise, maybe you get it, maybe you don't get it. You realize maybe over time, my boss is making $1 while I'm making a dime. You never really factor in the cost of him to run his business, gas, insurance, employees, healthcare, equipment, just overhead, right? And so what you do is you say, I want to make more money. I want to make $100,000 here. And maybe it's appropriate, maybe it's not appropriate. But let's just say self-employment or small lawn care landscape business. Maybe you can afford to pay you guys 30, 40, 50, 60 grand, 80 grand. But, they're just ridiculous. They think you're making $1 million profit. And they're like, hey, I want 80 grand. I want 100 grand. You're like, well, unfortunately, it's just not going to work. It doesn't work that way. Like, there's just not enough money to go around. I wish, but like, we are a business. We do make money, but not that kind of money. Not yet. Well, and whether, that conversation's happening at your business or, Ford Motor Company, I'm sure it's all the same. That guy says, screw that. I'm about to go start my own business. Well, he goes and starts his own business. He goes out there and says, I'm going to go cut grass and I'm going to, do this thing on my own. I'm going to charge my rates. I'm going to make more money. So what does he do? He starts cutting grass, starts, starts plumbing, starts being an electrician, starts reinvesting into the business, has to buy a new work van or a transit van, right? Has to buy insurance, workers' compensation, a little this, a little that. Realizes, hey, well, if I have more guys working for me than less guys and we're churning and burning through more work, then, maybe we can make some more revenue and I can make some more money. So as you guys can imagine where this story is going, he gets 1 or 2 employees, 4 or 5 employees, maybe a team of 10 employees. Company's doing $1 million, $2 million bucks. And, he gets to upgrade to a nicer truck. His wife gets the Suburban. Maybe they move out of a subdivision into a different subdivision. They look like they're doing better. Key employee comes over and says, hey, man, I see your life getting better. You're making, good money doing this thing. And I want to raise. I want to raise from 30, 40, 50 grand and my little profit share for 5, 10 grand, little being relative, right? That's the demeaning way of saying this. And I want to make 100, 110 grand a year. I want to do what you're doing. And the owner's like, dude, what are you talking about? We're not made of money. And, there's a lot there. There's a lot there in that whole story, right? Let me give you another quick analogy. Maybe you're 16, 17, 18 years old. You're looking to hustle, make some money. And you're thinking to yourself, well, my parents got a lawnmower. I don't mind enjoying cutting the lawn. Hell, my dad tells me to go outside every Saturday and go mow the lawn. That's my job. Good for dad. Dad tells you to get outside. Mom says, go get outside, go cut the grass, go get some exercise, run video games all day. Go out there and cut the lawn. Whether you like it or not, you go out there, you mow the grass. You say, well, wasn't too bad. I'll mow the lawn. Thanks, Mom, for letting me use the push mower. And you don't think too much about it. Well, then, the Yeezys come out. You want some new, new Trek bicycle. You're in the mountain biking. Maybe you're in the paintball. Maybe you're in the Magic the Gathering, like I was. Whatever. Maybe you just want some nice, options to take a girlfriend out for a date night, and you realize being broke doesn't really come with the riz, right? The more money you make, the more riz you get. That line is copyrighted. So, and by the way, I will tell you that's the truth. The more money you make, the better looking you get. Don't ask me. I'm not telling you my story. I'm just saying, look at Bill Gates. Kind of a fugly old man and weird nerd, but you add up 200 billion to him, and well, anyway, I'll just leave it at that. He becomes kind of handsome, right? So, well, let's go back to you're 16, you're 15 years old, and you're out there, and you're thinking to yourself, you're thinking, well, if I cut my neighbor's lawn, ask me to do it. He's going on vacation. Hey, would you guys mind mowing the lawn this week? We're going to be whitewater rafting. We're going to Florida, whatever. Yeah, sure. Comes back. Hey, how much do I owe you? Oh, don't worry about it. We got you. That's what neighbors are. That's what neighbors are for. No, that's cool. That's fair. But here's $50. And you think, $50? It only took me an hour. Yeah, it was hot. It was sweaty, long day. Mowed the lawn, washed off the lawnmower with the hose. And you start thinking to yourself, $50, not too bad. Maybe I should get a couple lawns. Maybe I'll go get 2, 3 lawns. And you start thinking, kids at the mall are making $12, $15 an hour. I'll just charge $25. Hey, neighbor gave you 50. Appreciate that. But that's a one-off, a little bit of a premium there. But I'll just charge $25. After all, the big guy in town, he charges $50 for a weekly lawn. What a rich, wealthy, overcharging, or even if you don't think those thoughts, you just think, hey, if he's doing it for 50, the best way to compete with him is what? Do it for 30. Do it for 25. So you start mowing a bunch of lawns for $25. You get 5, then you get 7, then you get 10, then you get 12, then you get 20. And you start thinking, man, I'm Donald Trump Jr. I'm a businessman. Like, look at me go. Look at me grow. And nobody ever grown this fast. And what do? You decide, hey, I'm going to start growing this thing. I'm 17, I'm 19, I'm 22, I'm 25, I'm 30, whatever it is. Maybe it's the same story if you're working part-time or full-time at your job, but you start cutting some lawns on the side. You're firefighter, you're doing whatever, and you start making 10, 15, 20 lawns on the side, another 20, 30 grand a year, and you go, I don't got the same overhead as a Brian's Lawn Maintenance. I don't got the same overhead as a Core Ballot Perfect Cut or a Short Log. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to cut lawns for 25, 30 bucks. And what I'm going to do is just beat everybody on price. Well, then you decide, well, my 20, 30 lawns is kind of turning into a little bit of a business area. And my Craftsman ride-on mower from Sears isn't really keeping up. You know, it's kind of breaking down. It's not really a commercial mower. So you decide to go buy a brand new Toro or Skag or John Deere or Exmark, and you realize, damn, this mower is $10,000. You know how many lawns I got to cut at $25 to make $10,000? Well, then you're like, well, my push broom's not doing too well. I probably should get a backpack blower, and so on and so forth. All right, I'm not going to extrapolate this all out. You guys already know where I'm going, but think about this. Now you start saying, well, $25 isn't really getting me there that fast. I need to be charging $50 a lawn. After all the guys around me in town are mowing lawns for $50 a cut. Well, why is that? Is it because it's some magical number of what the universe deems a weekly mow should be? Or is it where people start finally realizing that they're able to start making at least a mere 10% profit? And maybe it just happens to be coincidental and kind of relatable to your local market. And so it's the great sin, two sins, right? The great sin of, one, you think the business owner is just making all the money. You decide to go in business for yourself only to realize you probably had it pretty good. Or number two, you're the young guy, the small guy, the new guy, maybe the part-time guy, and you realize all these big companies charging these exorbitant rates maybe actually know what they're talking about a little bit, and you as the new guy need to realize as soon as possible that you need to bring your rates up. Because if you don't bring your rate up, all the big guys, of course, get hurt too, because they're trying to compete with trucks in a truck for 30 to 40 bucks, and they can't. And so it hurts them as well, because they have to compete against folks that aren't making any money and that keep coming and going. Because if you're cutting lawns for $20 or $30, you're going to not only tank your business, you're going to be out of business. And that's why 5, 10, 15% of the market of green industry professionals just come and go, because they get in, they get out. They get in, they get out. And there's always a percentage of customers that are attracted to that, not necessarily the get in, the get out, but the low price. And that's why trying to compete and haggle on price never is a winning formula, because you're trying to compete with people that won't be here 2 years from now versus trying to compete on quality, value, partnerships, and actually solving real problems. And that's why I never toss price with my customers. It's the last thing I talk about. When price does come up, it's the last thing we talk about with our customers. Why? Because I'm not here to compete with Chuck in the truck. Respectfully, I'm not here to compete with Mr. Teenager getting started in business. I'm not here to compete with the guy who's, mowing lawns on the side of his 9-to-5 job. There is an element of the marketplace that needs that guy, and that guy has an element of the marketplace that relates to him as a customer. And so many folks say, well, I just can't find good, customers out there because all of the part-time, low-ball, Chuck in the truck guys take all that work. And my question is, why are you even bidding that work? How are you even finding that work? How do you even get those kind of phone calls? I don't know. I don't even receive those kind of phone calls, because if you go to my website, you realize we're a semi-pseudo, at least trying to be a professional outfit, and we're getting better every day. Right? We're trying to get better every day, and we're not even trying to attract those type of people. If those people call and they say, I get a lawn inquiry on my website, my submission form in, mid-June, hi, looking for a bi-weekly service, the lawn hasn't been cut once, my email reply is, well, how much can we cut it for? And, hey, what are you looking for? My response is, I'm sorry, but our route is currently full. We do appreciate your inquiry. Have a great day. Because it's definitely nowhere, no way, no shape or form, anything related to any kind of work that we want to take on. Versus, I get a phone call from a company or an email submission form, when this is a true story, just a couple days ago, and I got to work on a bid here. And it says, hi there, We're looking to get an upcoming quote for the winter season for snow removal. And of course, we'd like to continue on with the lawn landscaping if it works out. We did receive your postcard from last fall. If you remember us connecting, I did remember connecting. I did talk to the person. I did bid the snow. Unfortunately, they found out that they were still under a 2-year contract with the previous company for snow. So unfortunately, we weren't able to get in there. So we did get 4 small sites and 1 medium-sized site with our fall mailer for winter services from Postcard Mania last fall. Another little update there. This stuff is still paying dividends. But how cool is that? Get your postcards going, start thinking lawn and fall and leaves and snow now. But that company is more than likely going to sign up with us, and we're going to get that bid. And I'm super, super pumped about that. But that company's not looking at my website saying, hey, we need the, no disrespect to my, part-time guys, teachers, firefighters, police, stuff like that. It's just they're not looking for the part-time firefighter guy to manage their 2-acre commercial site that has 10 loading docks and 40 people showing up here every day. Now, if you're a firefighter, you can do that, dude, even better, all the better. I'm never putting anybody down like that. It's nothing like that. But let's just be frank. Like, we're a to-be site management related esque company. That's what I want to do. We'll do some residential, we'll do some high-end residential, but that's what my company is going. That's where we're going. Just like you guys that get in the fertilizer, you guys don't have to compete with Chucks and the Trucks and, Marty, the guy that mows, because there's no barrier to entry. If somebody wants to go spray pre-emergent and, fertilizer, they have to get tested and licensed, right? So there's a huge barrier to entry. So the competition goes from 10 guys with mowers and a truck to 1 guy with a first sprayer and a license. And I totally get that. And the more you do stuff like that and you position yourself different in the marketplace, the more niche down you get. Typically, the higher revenue, the higher profit, and the higher margin work that's going to be available to you, right? So I'm just giving you guys the lay of the land. But here's the 2 cents. 1, your employees, they always think they have it so easy, and that you're making, or that you have it so easy that you make so much money. So never fall into that trap, because how many guys have you heard Troy Clogs, the 4 ballots, hey, making 60, 70 grand, company truck, company phone, company health insurance. That's not too bad of a deal. And all you got to do is make sure the lawns get cut and you get to listen to headphones and podcasts all day. Not too bad of a gig. Obviously, I'm talking to a lot of contractors and end users and business owners on this podcast. But let me just give you guys the last thought is, if you guys are out there, you're like, well, that guy's going to bush hog for $1,000. I'm going to do it for 500. Dude, 2 things. 1, you're probably leaving profit and money on the table. Or 2, you don't even know what your numbers really are. And you're not even running your business accurately or effectively. And that's why I'm such a big proponent of LMN. You have to know your numbers, right? And if you're just like, well, I can get away with charging less, how do you know? Point me to another CRM that's giving you the data that you need to know that what you're charging is appropriate. And that's why it's like, hey, what are you getting for a lawn? What am I getting for a lawn? I don't care what you're getting for a lawn. I care what I'm getting for a lawn, what my prices are, and what my profit margin is. And looking left and looking right and comparing broad notes about your market and your region, like, that's a great thing. That's what you need to do to make sure we're all kind of on the same page. But you really have to know what's going on with your personal business. And the last thing I'll just say is Troy Clark had a great line on our shop tour that we did a couple of years ago. He said, the competition isn't each other. The competition is the customer, because we dictate the price, not the customer, right? The customer is going to pay for a patio, a ton of salt applied, a 1 to 3 inch plow scrape event, a weekly mow. They're going to pay whatever the market rate is. Like, what we dictate is our rates. And if 5 guys are giving it away at $25, 5 guys are giving it away at $35, and 10 guys out of 20 here are giving it a $50 mow, well, then the market's going to be somewhere at $42. But if we can all, 20 out of 20 people in this example, or 99 out of 100 contractors can get our price to a weekly mow to $60, then the companies have no choice but to charge all $60. The customers have no choice but to pay the $60. And I'm not saying monopoly or fixed pricing. I'm just saying, folks, we're better than that. We're all better. How many times do we all say, we all work too hard to make too little? Okay, so twofold. 1, not really going to talk too much about the employee situation, but keep that in the back of your mind. Bake that into your guys, because they just think, oh, you're just killing it. Corey Valley's just killing it, maybe. But you know what? He took the risk too of a heart attack, maybe a divorce, or this or that. Like, that's what comes with potential ownership in larger company. Like, there's a lot of responsibility, maybe an ulcer, or having a heart attack, or stress, or your kids hating your guys. Like, all that stuff can come out by trying to focus and run a big company, because it does take a huge commitment. Or number two, talking to your employees about, hey, like, you actually have a pretty good setup here. Like, what else are you looking for? Let's win together. Like, have these kind of conversations. But really, my conversation is going to be to a lot of you guys that are out there that are just getting started. And you're thinking, well, I can undercut so-and-so, or I can drop my price down 5, 10, 20 bucks. Number one, more than likely you can't, because you shouldn't be, because you're not charging appropriately, because you don't know your numbers. And by the way, I have sinned on pretty much all of the above. Okay, so I'm going to enter with a place of love, in a place of I've been there, I've done that. All right, so if you guys are new, after this podcast, I'm going to charge you guys with raising your rates, getting to where the market should be, charging appropriately for lawn, appropriately for snow. If you're less than $125 a yard for mulch installed, you better have some wild circumstances that justify that lower cost. Well, I can do it for 60 or 80 bucks. You need to stop doing that, because you're ruining it for the rest of the industry, and you're bringing this thing down. And in 5 years, you grow your company to a sizable little outfit, and then you start realizing, oh my God, I was doing exactly what the new kid in town is doing, or new guy in town is doing, and I was doing the exact same thing. And it is the perpetual set of self-employment. We all arguably do that. And I don't want to say all is a strong word, but 9 out of 10 folks in any industry, in any business, we all go through that same thing. And the hardest part, of course, is once you get a customer at a certain rate, it's almost darn near impossible to get it raised where you need to go without making it completely super awkward. Does that make sense? So you might say, well, hey, we're doing your driveway for $550 for the snow for the season. It should be $1,500. You can't do enough 10%, 20% price increases to ever get you to that $1,500 number. You just can't. Okay. And by the way, I am coming at this from, I have said that this probably as much or more than anybody listening in. So don't think I'm just, honestly got it all figured out. Not the case. All right. So if you're new, raise your rates. If you guys are coaching or mentoring someone, help explain this and help them understand that the biggest enemy to our prices going up and our profit going up in this industry isn't the customer, it's us. And that's why we need to be more open. That's why we need to have more conversations. That's why we all need to come together as a community and an industry to have a greater dialogue about what we're charging, what we're getting, how we can all grow and elevate together. And that's why you see the biggest folks, the biggest of the biggest folks, all comparing notes, all going to networking events, all trading, quote unquote, inside tips and tactics and strategies to all grow and win together, so we all make money together. Okay, so that's what I charge you guys with on today's podcast episode. I think it's a wild conversation. It's an interesting observation. I have had all these scenarios happen to me. I'm sure I have said that to other people, and that's what I got for you guys on today's show. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Just a fun thought. I had a great conversation with a young man earlier today, and this kind of just sparked some thoughts. I'm like, dude, we've all been there. The goal is to not stay there, though. Amen? All right. Over now, guys. Appreciate you. Have a great day. New podcast Monday, Wednesday, Friday. By the way, had some great reviews come in lately. We're going to be reading those here live. If you guys are going to be switching the channel or changing to a different podcast, I want you guys to scroll down, hit 5-star if you don't mind. We super appreciate that rating, and leave us a couple sentence review if you guys are into it, and we'll read those out loud for you and give you a little shout out. Appreciate you guys. Love you. Have a great rest of the week. Stay safe. Be safe. We'll catch up with all of you guys here on the next one.
Last week, Brian had his brother Adam on here to discuss their new venture called the Branded Bull Podcast. We thought you might like to hear what this new podcast sounds like.
This is the Branded Bull Podcast, a show dedicated to helping take your business to the next level with winning marketing and branding tips and strategies built for today's competitive world. Ready for your business to make its mark and stand out from the competition? Let's get into it.
Hey guys, Adam Fullerton here with Branded Bull on the Branded Bull Podcast. Excited to talk about our first topic of this show. And it's going to be really exciting. If you guys didn't know, we are all about marketing and branding and helping businesses grow and truly stand out from the competition. So tune in, subscribe, listen along while we talk about more and more of these different marketing, branding, and so forth. These tactics, these ideas, things you can implement in your own business to help it grow. And in here in the studio with me is, of course, my brother, Brian Fullerton of Brian's Lawn Maintenance. We're going to toss some ideas back and forth, maybe a question or two here and there, but try to keep it short for this Tip Tuesday episode of the week. So the first episode right here, right now, we want to talk about Google My Business. This is a really simple one. And we get this question all the time from people. How do I get on Google? How do I get leads? How do I get reviews? And how can I start getting an online presence? Google My Business is one of the simplest, and it's actually free. It's a free tool provided by Google.
I like free.
Yeah, everybody likes free, especially in the business world, right? So, Brian, I know you have one. Can you speak to, before I jump into what people should do, how do you use your Google business? Do you get leads from it? Do you get reviews? How does it help your business?
I'll talk about my experience from the practical side of it. Then I'd love to get the expertise side of it. So my opinion, I don't think there's really been anything to bring in as much business besides maybe referrals or word of mouth. And of course, the ante, having a good website. I don't think on the interwebs, as the kids are calling it these days, I don't think there's anything more important or anything that's brought us in more business or provided more credibility for us than a Google My Business listing. And if you guys don't know, if you have a Google business account or a Google account, you can register to get a Google business listing. Arguably, I think they're still free.
Yep.
And basically, they'll send a couple pieces of paper, you verify your address, and then you can populate all of your name, your address, your photos, your company's information, and all that mess. And really, for me, it's two things. One, it's to provide a kind of like a secondary landing page, which is on Google. Again, if you don't exist on Google, I heard somebody say, then you don't exist.
Yep.
And then number two, it gives all the broad customer information they're looking for before they go to your website. And of course, it's also a great place to stockpile all those Google reviews. If you don't have one, I would encourage you to get one. And if you have one, my biggest question is, how often are you updating it? Or really, when is the last time you're updating it? And number three, how often are you trying to get those Google reviews and to keep that thing fresh? So that's my quick little minute and a half, my tip. Adam, I'd love to hear yours.
Yeah, really quickly. So obviously you said free tool, go get it, go to Google, search Google Business Profile. It'll come up, register it, get verified. It only takes a few minutes. Start getting reviews, like you said, name, address, photos, services, all those things that help you get established on Google, Google Maps, and it just starts helping with the credibility thing, right? I want to see where you are, where you service, who you are, what you do. Read those reviews, because ultimately, if you're listening and nobody has any other information to go off of from others, you're totally missing out to the competition. So go on there, get those reviews, and start publishing as much information about your business as possible. Yeah, so that said, guys, if you want to learn more about who we are, Branded Bull, visit brandedbull.com. Email us, all the social media channels, hit us up. You have questions, need help with growing your business, small, medium, or large, we're here for you. So reach out, and we look forward to the next episode and connecting with you guys further.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Branded Bull Podcast, the podcast dedicated to giving you expert advice and actionable ideas so that your business can make its mark and stand out from the competition. Like what you heard in today's show? Visit brandedbull.com to see how we can help you achieve your marketing and branding goals. Also, please consider leaving a 5-star review. And again, thanks for listening.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast with Brian Fullerton. We hope you enjoyed this production. If so, please consider leaving us a 5-star review for the show. While the techniques and ideas presented here are designed to help you grow a more successful and profitable business, no one can guarantee these results for you. We want to emphasize that entrepreneurship is not easy, and the ideas presented here are just the opinions of Brian Fullerton and his respective guests. No one can guarantee success for you. That being said, we hope the ideas presented here help you and motivate you to go on out there and crush it with your own business.
Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.
This has been a Brian Fullerton and Mr. Producer production.